Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to start off with the chapter of political science. So, political science is a subject which deals with, in a layman's note, you can say it deals with politics and governance. Okay, we hear many people saying that this government or this party is playing dirty politics. So we have given it a different dimension, but in reality, political science is a very different subject. It is dealing with the government, but it is not denoting in a very bad sense or manner. So here we will confine ourselves in a formal tone. Now, to introduce you to the subject, firstly, we know that political science is very old, but it has been evolving since then. Till today, we can see there is always a it had its roots in the ancient Greece, in the times of Plato and Aristotle. Now, its modern form is also known as modern political theory. Or, now I will start off with the following topics that you can see on the screen. First, we see the traditional political science. Now, how will we define it? To define it in very simple terms, we know the word traditional means classical, and it is also known as classical political science or political theory. It started in the ancient times in the ancient Greece in the 3rd and the 4th century BC, and it is defining political science as a science of the state and the government. Like nowadays, the layman often refers to this term, and they believe that the early Greek philosophers or the political scientists, they believe the political science concentrates only on three things, that is, first is state, government, and political science, and political institutions. And it also deals with the organization, positions, interrelationships, legal powers. And the approaches we use for this study are philosophical, historical, legal, institutional approaches. For this study of the basic concept state, it is around the term state. Everything is concentrated on basis of the state and government. There is no new term. Now, secondly, we see the modern political science. Modern political science is also known as modern political theory or modern political analysis, and it started off in the mid 20th century after behavioralism. And now the political science, new political science, have been attending on the modern political aspects, like you example political behavior, political relations, political actions, political interaction, political processes. Now this is a very rich concept which is focused on the theme of power and struggle for power rather than the state or the government itself. It also encompasses every human being who is directly or indirectly related in the politics of the world and of his or her state or country. Now, we study politics through an interaction through which authoritative and binding decisions are made and implemented in the society. Now, who makes this laws? The legislature makes these laws, and the executive implements those, and the judiciary keeps an account of the adjudication of the laws. So we have the three organs of the government is coming in this manner. Okay, now we have something called political science and politics. There is a subtle difference between political science and politics. Political science in a theoretical sense includes the study, the theories, the concept of state sovereignty, government, legislation, state as a legal entity, and all other legal institutions, their study. But when it comes to the usage of political science, it becomes politics. It is called applied politics. It deals with the constitutional law, usage, parliamentary system, army, navy, police, currency, budget, trade, legislative procedures, diplomacy, peace, war, treaties, conventions, and the broad band of national politics and international relations too. Now we come to the few points of differences between the politics and political science. Let us first take a first point is that politics, it is the applied form of political science, and it deals with the day-to-day activities of the government. But on the other hand, political science, as I told you, that it is a theoretical in nature. It studies the concepts of the fundamental principles, origin, nature, scope, and powers of the state and the government. Politics means the behavior of politics, like the actual phenomena or the different political processes that are taking place in the society. But political science studies the state and the government. Now, the politics is a very practical activity because it is applicable and it is very different from political science. Now, political science is a subject that is studied by the teachers or students or any general interest reader, or it is just an academic exercise which includes the study of the concepts. We can say that political science differs from state to state. So there is a difference between the politics of different states. From time to time it changes. The principle of political science are universal, like the politics or the political form of governance, you can say, is different in Britain and India, but the theory remains similar in both the countries. We are everyone. You cannot say that this person who holds a different occupation is involved in a different kind of politics, but directly or indirectly everyone is included in this applicable form of political science, that is politics. But when it comes to politics in political science, it is only a social discipline which is like an area of study for the researchers and teachers. Now, a student, you see, a political student who has got a huge degrees in political science could not perform well in politics. It is There is a subtle difference. But when it comes to a politician, he may or may not have the knowledge of political science, but he obviously can take part in politics and play an important role. Very often, a person having knowledge of political science fails to successfully perform in politics, in real life politics. But this is a traditional view. When we come to the modern view, we get that the state and the government are the two main institutions of political science, which are the objects of study or in politics. So there is no difference between politics and political science as the modern or contemporary political scientists believe. So there is a view. And if we see the starting of this modern view after the behavioral revolution, now you may be thinking that what is a behavioral revolution in political science? So it is a movement, you can say, in political science that analyzes the observable behavior of political actions and activities. It is an attempt to improve our understanding by seeking the help of various empirical methods, what, why, and how. And it is a critical method to analyze the politics so that we can get fruitful analysis of the politics, whether it is in country or it is with reference to an individual and the government, anyway. Now let's come to the part after behavioral revolution. Now, politics is the science of the political relations and interactions in the society. Now, what are these political relations? These relations are characterized between individuals or political parties, or between the government and the individual, private partners, public players, so by the exercise of power to a significant extent. And they do not, as we know, after this revolution in politics, we do not accept any difference between politics and political science. So we can say that politics is an appropriate name for describing the study of political relations, activities, and the processes. And the politics is a science of politics. Now they prefer to say that politics is a type of science which studies the political phenomena or the system of political relations in each society. Now, as I have told, politics is the struggle for power. Whether it is in a very bad way or in a very legal way, but it is at the end of the day the struggle for power, the struggle for resolution of various conflicts in our society. Now, if we and this also contains the system of making and implementing binding laws, rules, policies, the decisions for the whole society. Most of the modern political scientists say that they use the concept of political system for defining politics. Now, it involves the traditional concepts of state, government, and nation. It is not that the modern political science discards the theory, but in recent years there has been an integrated platform, which I will say in a few moments. Now, so we know that modern political science is based on power relations and interactions. It is the exercise of power in the society, the way the power is shaped and shared in the society, and it answers the question what, when, and how. And it talks about the influence and the influential, power and the powerful. Now, according to Catlin, politics is a struggle for power and influence, and politics is persistent pattern of human relations which is based on these four terms: extent of power, rule, authority, and control. You may be thinking that only the political institutions or people who are directly related to politics may come on this ambit of this subject, but in real life, all the structures, whether it is the interest groups, pressure groups, various organizations, bureaucracy, police, they all come under the influence of this politics, because there is always a scope of the exercise of power in these dimensions. Now come to the main thing that I have been telling, that it is the exercise of power, it is the struggle for power. So what is this? Now, political system is there in each country, everywhere. Politics has been seen as political system, from where there is a set of interactions through which the authoritative values are made and implemented in the society. And it is a comprehensive in nature, precise, and realistic. Now, the meaning of this sentence, that it is binding and authoritative and implemented for the entire society, it means it is the description and analysis of the manner in which power is obtained, political power is obtained, exercised, and controlled, the purpose for which it is used, the manner or the decisions are taken on which base, what is the base of it, the political power, and the factors which are influencing the making of these decisions, the context in which those decisions take place. Now, there are five major dimensions. As you can see on the screen, there are five major dimensions of politics: political theory, comparative politics, international relations, public administration, political economy. So, we can say that political science has been continuously developing. As long as history is there, there is always a tendency of history in the making, history repeat itself. So politics too is the same in this discipline. And now, why I am saying that it is continuously developing and changing, it is growing and changing, because there has been a continuous change in the society. Change in which aspect? Social, economic, political environment of all countries, not only our country, but also when it comes to the relations with other international countries or foreign countries. We can see that political scenario is changing, the global powers is changing, and it is the other fact that it may have a good impact or bad impact, but it is continuously changing. So politics, the very dimension of politics, needs to be changed. Now, politics involves the study of the political relations, interactions, institutions. So, what are this? Five. These are the five major autonomous subjects of study in political science. So, this involves a power struggle. Now, first is the political theory. Political theory means the theory of politics in simple terms. It is, a traditional concept. In modern times, how will we define this? The theory of political relations and interactions. Now, in order to understand this, what is the significance of this political theory? Why we need to study that? Because it seeks to understand, explain, and analyze the political phenomena that are going on in the society, and also to rectify the shortcomings. In a very broad sense, you can say it is studying anything that is related to politics. If we come to the narrow sense of politics, it is, the disciplined investigation of the political problems. And George Catlin falsely divides political theory into two areas: political science and political philosophy. Political science is, concerned with the phenomena of control over the whole social field, or you mean the society. And political philosophy means that what can politics do to bring national good, to do good to the society, to improve the society. And now this theory, this part of this political science is normative and empirical in nature and content. It has a theoretical explanation of the political reality. There is always a description, analysis, explanation, prediction, and change. These are the very goals of political theory. It covers all types of political relations. You can say it is an ideology. It has a set of principles, values, beliefs that are relevant to the governance or the people in the society, and it seeks to understand, analyze, and the phenomena of politics and rectifying the shortcomings. I said that the main of political theory is to rectify the shortcomings of the political processes in our society. So it also includes, it is the, you can say rather, the handiwork of philosophers, economists, sociologists, journalists, intellectuals, economists to try to comprehend, because the nature of politics is so vast, or the scope is so vast, that it is touching every subject, and it is directly or indirectly related to every subject. The scope of political science includes that the scope of political science is that it includes our political thought, political theory. So first, the first point is the study of the state, the study of the origin, nature, purpose, functions of the state. Now, what is this very basic concept of state? State, is a sovereign institution of all the people. It is the will of the people, and it includes a definite portion of the territory, and it is organized under unelected government. All civilized countries in the world are now opting for democracy. So we can say that it studies whether it is democracy or whether it is dictatorship or anything, any type of government. Study of politics finds relevance there. It is not excluded that if a country is not following democratically, so it is just expelled from the list. But studying the objectives, aims, functions, relations of the state, and the relationship. What is the relationship and power balance between the state and the people? What are the constitutional validity of the laws that are passed? In that, we can study it. Now, as a material of the past, we can say in the past the state was in a structure and nature. We used to study the political thought. Who has built this political thought? Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, Bowden, Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, Green, J.S. Mill, Marx, Lasky, Lenin. So they have contributed a valuable part in politics. What are the theories that defines the state that we have come to know from the past books, documents, like the individualism, idealism, democratic socialism, communism, socialism, fascism, Nazism, Gandhism? These are the subject matter of politics that also come under this ambit, because we are studying the state from the transition from the past to the present and then to the future. Now, in the future, how can we define politics? presently. Now we have to answer these questions, that how, in what way the state is likely to develop, in what way it should develop, in what way the relation should be encompassed between the state and the people, what should be the process of reformation of the state in the future, are the important areas of study. Now it is also study of the government, because here we are establishing an ideology, so we have to study an government. It is an essential fact or essential element of the state. Government, in clear terms, is that agency of the state which exercises all the powers of the state. It formulates the will of the state or expression of the people, that is the lawmaking power, enforces the laws, executive function, and realizes the will of the state through the adjudication of the disputes, that is the judicial function. So there are three organs of the government, namely legislature, executive, and judiciary. And we have to study their organization, powers, functions, positions, and interrelations. The government can be democratic, can be of different types. I have said that whether it is democratic, authoritarian, monarchical, parliamentary, presidential, unitary, or federal, or even in a mixed form, they form an essential part of the study of political science. Now, if the and then the next thing that we have to study is the political system. Political systems are at work in every state. Now, whether it is western, non-western, developed, underdeveloped, or developing, we are not going to discriminate, we are going to study them. The study of man as a political being. So man is a political being. Besides all the human values, we also have the seeking of power, the struggle for power, for protecting the interests of the individuals. So for that only the political organizations have come to place. They have been serving the needs and aspirations of the people, the political relations, the activities. So we can say that who is the state, who is the government? It is run by the people, so it is most important human political organizations. It is consists of humans, not any other creatures, and it makes it so common then. Political system and political culture, political socialization, these are the modern concepts. Now we are going to also study within this political theory the study of the interest group, pressure group, civil society, and political parties too. When we are coming to political parties, we should also study of the elections and political participation, and study of the leadership. Now, what is the meaning of leadership? Leadership, it aims to pursue the people towards a common goal. Political leaders, are the major players in the election, and they exercise political power in the state. Even if they are becoming the opposition parties, they also carry significant power and functions in the political process. There is also a study of the comparative politics and constitution. It lays down and defines the organs, powers, and functions of all the organs of the government and their interrelations. Now we have to study the political concepts, theories, and approaches. I have now this the theories are like the traditional theories are sovereignty, law, liberty, equality, rights, and justice. These concepts are going to be discussed in detail uh, in future. And now we have many modern concepts like political authority, legitimacy, other powerful struggle too. It is also the study of political process, policy making, decision making, electoral process, voting behavior, political participation, elite behavior, mass politics, and populism, and the elite behavior. We have also to study the similarities and dissimilarities among various political structures, functions, and institutions. It provides a systematic understanding building and theory building in politics. We can also study the environment in politics. This is another aspect of politics. We can study the psychological, sociological, economic, anthropological environment, and the total environment in which the political system operates. It also studies power, influence, and authorities. Now, how we can define the relationship between these terms: power and the powerful, influence and the influence and influential, authority and authority holders who are being like the rulers and the ruled, the social roots of power, influence, and authority. It is also the study of the infrastructure of politics, like the economic, cultural, and political factors which always dominate the political relations and activities or the infrastructure, they form a part of infrastructure. And it also studies many interdisciplinary subjects like sociology, psychology, cultural anthropology, economics, and this also needs a detailed understanding of this subject. I said that there is always a connection between politics and political science and all the institutions, and it directly or indirectly impacts each of our lives. So we need to study the subjects. It is very related to the other subjects like sociology, psychology, anthropology, and economics. Now how it is related, I will come with the next videos. So we are going to study the next 4 types of or the dimensions of political science in the next video. Okay, thank you for watching.